Before entering into discussion on the period of the Sen dynasty, now let us know something more about the decline of the Pals, followed by the rise of the Sens in Bengal. According to available records, the Sens originally belonged to the well-known Brahmakshatriya caste and came from Karnataka. That is the Kannadi speaking area in Mysore and Hyderabad states in South India. Karnataka. The founder of the dynasty, Samanta Sen, is said to have settled in old age on the banks of the Ganga in Bengal, but there is no evidence to show that he was a ruling chief. A small principality was probably carved out by his son Hemanta Sen. Hemanta's son Vijay Sen, in the year 1095 to 1158 AD, conquered East Bengal from the Bormons and a part of North Bengal from the Pals. He may have invaded Kamrup. Kamrup means the present day Assam. He is said to have conquered Mithila and Kolingo, and one epigraphic record tells us that his fleet, in its play of conquest of the dominions in the west, advanced along the course of the Ganga. He had two capitals, one at Bijaypur in West Bengal and one at Bikrampur in East Bengal. Vijay Sen was succeeded by his son Ballal Sen, a noted king of the Sen dynasty. He was born in 1158 and he ascended the throne in 1158 and died in 1179 AD. The final defeat of the Pals and the completion of the conquest of North Bengal may be ascribed to Ballal Sen. The traditional account of his campaign against Magadh is not supported by historical evidence, but Ballal Sen was a learned scholar and author of repute. He wrote two great books. One is Dan Sagar and the other is Adbhut Sagar. He is said to have introduced social reforms of far-reaching significance, and to him is ascribed the revival of Orthodox Hindu rites, probably a reaction against the prevalence of Buddhism under the Pals. The Pals were Buddhists and the Sens defeated the Pals, and they also opposed Buddhism and they were all Hindus, and they gave support to Orthodox Brahminical Hinduism. Hindu rites were in the stage again, and probably Ballal Sen ruled over the modern West and East Bengal and some portions of North Bihar. And during his time, the caste system was institutionalized. প্রতিষ্ঠানগত জাতগুলোকে তৈরি করা হলো, এবং এমনকি ব্রাহ্মণদের মধ্যেও নানা রকমের ভাগ আনা হলো, যে উচ্চ স্তরের ব্রাহ্মণ বা কুলীন ব্রাহ্মণ, অকুলীন ব্রাহ্মণ, এইসব ভাগ রাজা বল্লাল সেন করেছিলেন। The Brahmins who supported him were declared as Kulin Brahmins. However, the last notable ruler of the Sen dynasty was Lakhon Sen, 1179 to 1205 AD. He was the son and successor of Ballal Sen. He conquered Gaur, Kamrup, Kolingo and Kasi and planted pillars of victory at Puri, Benares and Allahabad. He also secured some military success against the Gohdawalas for the inclusion of the Goya district in Bihar in his dominions. He advanced up to Benares and Allahabad and towards the close of his reign, the powerful Sen kingdom was weakened by internal rebellions, which culminated in the establishment of independent principalities. মানে ছোটো ছোটো রাজ্য তৈরি হয়ে গেল স্বাধীন স্বাধীন, পরস্পরের মধ্যে বিদ্রোহ করে দক্ষিণ এবং পূর্ব বাংলায়। The process of disintegration of the Sen dynasty was carried a step further by the invasion of Ikhtiar Uddin Muhammad Bokhtiyar Khalji, a Turkish soldier of fortune who had come to India probably as a follower of Muhammad of Ghur. After the occupation of Magad, he led a cavalry force through unfrequented hills and jungles of Jharkhand, and by forced marches suddenly appeared before Nadia, where Lakhon Sen was staying at the time. The old Sen king, King Lakhon Sen, he fled because he was unprepared to face the daring invader. He fled to East Bengal. Then Ikhtiar Uddin occupied Nadia, and still Lakhon Sen continued to rule in East Bengal at least for 3 or 4 years up to 1205 AD. And regarding Lakhon Sen, it can be said that he was a Vaishnava, though his predecessors were so he was. Joydev, you have heard the name of the great poet Joydev, the greatest Vaishnava poet of Bengal, lived in his court, তার রাজসভায় ছিলেন. His patronage was also enjoyed by other well-known poets like Dhoi, Sharana and Govardhana. A great scholar named Halayudh was his chief minister and chief judge. Lakhon Sen himself was an author of great repute. He completed his father's work, Adbhut Sagar. Ballal Sen could not complete the book Adbhut Sagar. His son Lakhon Sen completed it, and some Sanskrit verses also were written by Lakhon Sen. After Lakhon Sen's death, his two sons, Vishwarup Sen and Keshav Sen, ruled in succession. Their authority was probably confined to eastern and southern Bengal, and they had to fight against the Muslims, though no details are available. We know from the Tabakat-e-Nasiri that the descendants of Lakhon Sen ruled in Bengal up to 1245 AD. In spite of this ignoble end, the short period of Sen rule in Bengal constitutes an important landmark in its history. A succession of three able and vigorous rulers consolidated the whole province into a united and powerful kingdom, such as probably it had never been since the death of Devpal 350 years before. 350 বছর আগে দেবপালের মৃত্যুর পর একেবারে সংযুক্ত বাংলা, সুশাসিত বাংলা এই সেন আমলে পাওয়া গিয়েছিল। By their strong advocacy of the orthodox Hindu faith, the Sens helped it to attain the position of supremacy in Bengal, which it had long ago secured in the rest of India. The Sen period also saw the high water mark of development of Sanskrit literature in Bengal. However, and in the 8th and the 9th century, now we go back to the Pal rule also. Dhiman, you have known Dhiman. He was an artist of the Borendra region. He was very renowned artist, and he attained great fame in he and his associate Bitpalo attained great fame in their work on metal, sculpture and painting. I have mentioned it the other day. Under this sense, Buddhism was neither spread nor propagated as in the Pal period. Brahminical Hinduism was predominant. Vedic and Puranic religions merged Brahminical Hinduism. Gods and goddesses like Indra, Agni, Kuber, Sun, Jupiter, Ganges, Jamuna, Mother Goddess, Shiv, Vishnu were worshipped by the people. King Lakshman Sen was himself a Vaishnavite, but his ancestors were Shaivite. I mentioned just now. Buddhism continued during the Sen rule, but the Buddhists were no longer benefited because they did not get any patronage from the Sen kings. The Brahmins, being the head of the society, were the sole beneficiaries. However, there were several subdivisions among the Brahminical caste. All the non-Brahmins were considered to be mixed or Shudras. The poet Joydev was a renowned literature in the court of Lakshman Sen. The theme of his poem Geet Govindam was the tale of romance of Radha and Krishna, and another poet of the court of Lakshman Sen was Dhoi. He composed the poem Pavandata. The other poets of his age were Govardhan, I mentioned it, Umapati Dhar and Sharana. These 5 poets were called the 5 gems in the court of King Lakshman Sen. In the early part of the 13th century, the poet Sridhar Das compiled a collection of poems entitled Sadhu Krito Karmamrito. Literature of the Sen age was closely connected with the rigorous discipline of Brahminical Hinduism. Both Ballal Sen and Lakshman Sen wrote books on Smriti Shastras. Of the 4 other books written by Ballal Sen, only Dan Sagar and Adbhut Sagar have been found. His minister Halayudha wrote Brahmana Sarabhasya on the Vedic customs. The lexicographer Sarbananda and the famous mathematician and astronomer Srinivas were two other writers of the same age. Literature is the mirror of a society. On the one hand, the verses composed in Sanskrit by the court poets of Lakshman Sen depicted the luxury and grandeur of the contemporary society. Comparing Lakshman Sen with Lord Krishna, the poets glorified the king. That was a custom of that age. Again, a rural lifestyle of a well to do farmer has also been delineated in one such verse. Paddy has grown, having the monsoon rains, the cattle have returned home, sugarcane grown well, no anxiety is there for us. On the other hand, life of the poor people has also been depicted in literature. The poets had created images of a child weak with hunger. Poor child weak with hunger, broken pitchers, tattered clothes of the poor. In one such composition, the misery of the poor people of Bengal living in huts during the rains is depicted. Wooden pillars are tottering, mud walls are melting, the straws of the roof have blown away. My dilapidated room is infested with frogs coming in search of earthworms. In Chorjapad, there is a line, no rice in the bowl, fasting is a daily affair. This is the picture of abject poverty. Because in the old society, agriculture was the main source of occupation, and the kings patronized the court, the poets and mathematicians, etc., in the court, but they did little for the poor people in the society. The aphorisms and the invocations of Krishna expressed in lyrical form testifies it. These aphorisms spread among the common people. They guided the people about the various agricultural activities, what is to be cultivated in which season, what type of soil is required for which food crop, how much rainfall is required for cultivation, etc.